Lovely viewers, we are back with our studies in English language. Today, we will be looking at verbs. But before we do so, I would plead your indulgence to take you through some words that look confusing. One has to do with this. These words, when we use them, sometimes we find it difficult as to which of them to use at what time, especially when it has to do with their past tense and then their past participle. Now let's take the first one for example. So this lie has to do with something that is untrue. Someone told you something and it's untrue, so it's a lie. Now, the continuous or the progressive tense will be lying. You are telling lies, so you are lying. Then the past tense will be lied. You lied to me. Your boyfriend, your husband lied to you. Then the past participle. He has lied to me. He had lied to me. Or I have lied to someone. That has to do with the first one. Now when we come to the next one, we are talking about someone lying down. So as in prostrate, someone sleeping. Let's put it that way. Someone who is sleeping. What is it doing? The progressive tense will be lying. That is why it looks lexically ambiguous for someone to say you are lying. Because if I have to say you are lying, then it will denote lying, as in you not telling the truth or you are sleeping. So which of them do you mean? So it looks a bit ambiguous. That is just by the way. But the more confusing one has to do with the past tense of lie, as in sleeping. It becomes lay. The simple past of lie down is lay. Then when you come here, it becomes have lain. I have lain down. So it's lie, sleeping, lying. The past tense lay. Yesterday I lay on my bed. Today I'm lying on my bed. Already I have lain on my bed. That is why I like this verse so much. 1 Kings 21 verse 4. It has to do with Naboth's vineyard. When Ahab was desperate to get a vineyard behind the castle, or if you like, the territory. Now, Naboth says that I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers. That is what Naboth told Ahab. And the Bible records that Ahab, he vexed, he was displeased. And because of the words Naboth had told him. Therefore, and Ahab went and lay down. That is what this verse says. And Ahab went and lay down. So you see that Ahab was vexed, he was angry, he was displeased because of what they told him. He was denied. A common citizen denied him of an inheritance that he wanted to buy. No, he wouldn't take that. So he went, he was lugubrious, he was somber. He went and what? Lay down. That is the past tense of lie. Then have lain down. When we come here, it has to do with, let's say, egg. Or let's say your bed. A hen will lay an egg. So, it is laying an egg. Or if I'm a student, whether in the tertiary or SHS, in the boarding house, what do? In the hostel, you lay your bed all the time. In the mornings and evenings, you lay your bed. So you are laying your bed. Or your egg is laying. Then, the past tense will be laid. The hen has laid an egg. I have laid my bed. Here too is the same thing. Have laid. So I'm laying my bed. I laid my bed. Past tense. I have laid my bed. So the simple past and then the past participle with respect to lay are the same. That is the difference among this, that, and that. Let's look at another one which has to do with cease. And that of cease. Now, even before we look at C's and C's, I forgot something, and I want us to remind ourselves of that. Now, with respect to this one, during funerals, Saturday, people say laying in state, others say lying in state. Now, to prevent this or to solve this discombobulation, this confusion, what do? You realize that if the person is in state, Saturday funeral, now the point is it that we are laying the person, as in we lay in the bed, or nipa no daho? You get the context. So nipa no daho, then it's supposed to be lying in state. So nipa no daho, and they're lying in state. But if you are saying that you are laying as a nipa no, yeah, we can do that. So you're supposed to be lying in state instead of laying in state. Thank you for this notation. Let's come back to C's and C's. Cease means to end, to stop, to finish, to terminate. While this is to take control or to take charge of something, to grab, to take hold of something. Remember when we were in school, our seniors, the way they'll punish you and seize your things. So my senior seized my belt. My senior seized my uniform. My senior seized my footwear. This one. But when it has to do with this, then we are talking about to end something. Seize the argument. That is why in the military they say ceasefire. Stop it. Now when you check Thessalonians, First Thessalonians 5 verse 17. The Bible says, pray without ceasing. Is it this one or that one? Pray constantly. Some versions of the Bible will say pray constantly. So you pray till doomsday. You pray till the cows come home. You pray in perpetuity. Pray without ceasing. That is about that. So that is the dichotomy, the difference between these two words. I'll give the last one, which has to do with put off, put out, power outage. Do we say light off? Do we say light out? Let's see all these. Now, before we look at that, I want us to realize that there is nothing like light off. That is totally wrong. Solecism. That is grammatically unacceptable. Light off. Light doesn't go off. Light goes out. Now, obviously, because you're off. Now, because I'm no BTS here, am I off? Of course, it won't look pleasant for you to say, "Oh, mama, out." I don't see it. You see how it looks like. But English is not about how pleasant the word sounds or how meaningful they are, but the rule. What is there to be said in the language? So if you say light off, that is off the mark. But we have light out, which is acceptable. But some of us normally use light out in a wrong context. You use light out when deliberately you put out the light. Some of us do not like sleeping in the light. I want to sleep. What do? I put out my light. You don't say, please, put off the light. No, you don't put off a light. You put out a light. So in your room, 10 o'clock, you want to sleep. You put off the light. That is wrong. You put out the light. And that is what we call light out. Because deliberately, you have decided not to sleep while the light is on. So if that happens, we say light out. So in the boarding house, those days when we were in school, boarding house, the house master will come, hey, 10 o'clock, light out. Light out. We decided to put out the light. But when suddenly power is out, they will say there is power outage. Power is out. You see the phone. Now they have a new name, PDS. What do? They give us power outage. So we say power outage and we don't say light off. So that is the difference. There is power outage or power is out. That is what we say when it comes to light out and then power outage. Thank you very much for this notation. Let us now look at verbs in detail. Now we'll be looking at verbs. Now even before we look at what verb is in detail, it is important that we take note of this. back in JHS or primary, we learned that a verb is a doing word or an action word. Does that mean that any word that does not perform any action is not a verb? We have words like is. We have words like are. Ask yourself, if you are asked to define is, what would you say? What is are? How would you define that? So you see that we have words that don't perform action, but they are also verbs. Therefore, it is incontrovertible. It is not conclusive. It is not absolute for us to say a verb is a doing word or an action word. Now, the definition of a verb should be something like this. A verb is a word or group of words that is used to express action, existence, or occurrence. It is the pivot around which the sentence idea is built, and thus the chief sentence element. What is majorly important about a verb is that it talks about the subject, what the subject does. And mind you, when we were in JHS, primary specifically, we learned something like every day I go, now I am going, yesterday I went, already I have something. Just imagine, it's so sweet. And one will pass by and say, oh, now almost ready. But those of us who were able to recite this, today, when they tell you the past tense of a word, you can tell. You know the difference between swam and swam. Or if you like ring and rang, or rang and another thing. Offer. Yesterday I rang, now I am ringing. Just imagine, that is just by the way. So, verbs tells us what happens, what happened, and what will happen, or even what is happening. That is why in 2018, at Stadio Olimpico, the stadium for AS Roma and that of Lazio, there was a Champions League encounter between AS Roma and that of Barcelona. The Barcelona fan dread to hear this because it was one of a nightmarish experience they had. Peter Drury, the commentator, said, "Oh, and Roma have risen from their reigns. Manolas, the great god in Rome, the unthinkable unfolds before our eyes. This was not meant to happen. This could not happen. This is happening. Barcelona, extraordinarily, 8 minutes from elimination. So you see, this was not meant to happen. This could not happen. This is happening." Peter Drury, he's a king when it comes to commentary. Now, so you see that verb tells us what is existing, what existed, and what is yet to exist. That is what a verb will do. Let us look at some areas in verb. A verb will do the following. 1. A verb will make a statement. Third March was Juliet Ibrahim's birthday. This is a statement. 20th March will be Fernando Torres' birthday. It is a statement. I love Fernando Torres. I love Asamaje. These are statements. And the verb is helping me make this statement. The second thing a verb will do is to ask questions. A verb will ask a question. Is Zlatan Ibrahimovic still playing? It's a question. Has the coronavirus ameliorated? It's a question. So you see that a verb will make a statement and ask a question. The next thing a verb will do has to do with command, or if you like, imperatives. Now, before we look at commands or imperatives, lest I forget, with respect to question, it is not always that a verb will begin a question, like to say, is Fernando Torres still playing? Is Mahama contesting 2020 election? I mean, it's not always that a verb will begin a sentence. Sometimes statements can be made to become questions when the intonation changes to the reason for. Now, if I say that coronavirus is dangerous, it's a statement. The intonation is done. I can as well say that perhaps I want to show some skepticism or surprise. So coronavirus is dangerous? So you see that the intonation, the rising, because it has risen, it becomes a question. Now there is a movie on Star Times, Ebony TV on Star Times, titled Entrapped. You see Nadia Buhari and co. A lady, a fellow lady, a character on stage in a scene asked Nadia Buhari, "You look beautiful." Then he said, "I do? I do?" So I do is supposed to be a statement. Declarative statement for that matter. But here, Nadia Buhari is saying, "I do," as in some sort of abasement. She's flabbergasted. "I do?" So that is also question. That is about that. Let's come to commands. I don't know what a husband and a wife will do, but there are some activities they engage that the wife will say, "Stop it." Now, stop it is a command, imperative. In question tag, when you have imperatives, the tag will be, "Will you stop it? Will you stop it? End that. Will you end that?" Benjamin, there are some stop it that is rather an invitation, not an intimidation. Stop it. And you see what is going to happen. That is just by the way.